Hello, once again, it's Tickets Plays Reviews with Oscar Watch, and it's that time of year. The nominations will happen Tuesday morning while most of us are getting ready to go to work or school. I've been trying to keep track of the races with various snapshots, and within a matter of hours before the big announcement, it's time to make our predictions. I'm switching up the order of reveals, starting with the shorts and leaving the best picture for last. This roadmap will let you know the order, and be sure to stay tuned to the end where I have a big announcement to make. One final thing before we begin. The predictions are in alphabetical order, with the numbers in parentheses letting you know where I have it ranked in each category. We'll reveal the nominations first, followed by the five alternates for each category, and away we go. I did a little bit of research for the shorts, placed them all in three categories: upbeat, neutral, and downbeat, and then I compared the Oscar nominated shorts for the last 5 years. For animated shorts, voters tend to prefer positive fare with an average of three nominations each year for upbeat fare, and only two shorts in 5 years that have been nominated for an Academy Award being downbeat. So good or neutral vibes should make the cut. As it turns out, I went with BAFTA nominee the Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse to lead the way, followed by The Flying Sailor, New Moon, An Ostrich Told Me the World is Fake and I Think I Believe It, and Save Ralph. And fortunately, missing the cut would be the short that would probably tick off Fox News viewers if it made the field. My Year of Dicks, It's Nice in Here, Ice Merchants, More Than I Want to Remember, and The Garbage Man. Now we take a look at the documentary short slate, and voters tend to nominate more downbeat fare, with 11 films considered negative in its viewpoint, while positive and neutral shorts receive 7 nominations apiece. But how does it affect the field? Considering only one of the shortlists was downbeat and a long shot, it ended up much like the animated shorts with 3 positive films and 2 neutral ones. And they are 38 in the Garden, which covers Linsanity, The Flag Makers, Nuisance Bear, The Martha Mitchell Effect, which concerns the woman who helped blow the whistle in Watergate, and Stranger at the Gate. Making the alternative lists are The Elephant Whisperers, Holding Moses, How Do You Measure a Year, As Far as They Can Run, and Angola, Do You Hear Us? And in case you're wondering, that's not referring to the country, but the Louisiana prison that they end up trying to do a play in. Now we take a look at live action shorts, where, as it turned out, 7 of the 25 nominees were positive, 9 were neutral, and 9 were downbeat. It's about as even as you're going to get. As it turns out, the nomination list appears to be An Irish Goodbye, Le Pupille, Nakam, The Red Suitcase, and Warshaw. Unfortunately, just missing out would be Ivalu, The Lone Wolf, The Treatment, Ciderall, and Almost Home. And we go from the shorts to the audio nominations with Best Sound in a film. And this tends to favor the blockbusters and films based on music and or war. The nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, The Way of Water, The Batman, Elvis, and Top Gun Maverick. Not quite making the cut here would be Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Oh. Wait a minute, what just happened? Oh, okay. Never mind. There we go. Yep. Okay. Probably shorter Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Everything Everywhere at Once, Moon Age Daydream, Babylon, and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. That kind of threw me for a hot second. Now we take a look at the original score. The nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Babylon, The Banshees of Inisherin, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and Women Talking. Which means on the outside are The Fablemans, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Woman King, Avatar The Way of Water, and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And now we jump into original song. Nominees for this category are Applause from Tell It Like a Woman, the Diane Warren number, Ciao Papa from Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick, Lift Me Up from Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and Not Two from Triple R. And it's the latter song that is leading the field right now, having won both the Golden Globe and the Critics' Choice nominations. Just the alternatives are Where the Crawdads Sing, that happens to be from Taylor Swift. Oh. Carolina from Where the Crawdads Sing, I'm sorry. New Body Roomba from White Noise, This Is a Life. Everything Everywhere and All at Once, which happens to be from David Byrne. Santa from Till. And Till You're Home, A Man Called Otto from Tom Hanks' wife, Rita Wilson. And that takes care of the audio portion of the predictions. Now we take a look at the visual portions of it, starting with film editing, which is a vital category if you want to be taken seriously for Best Picture. The nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Top Gun Maverick. Not making the cut here are Babylon, Avatar The Way of Water, The Fabelmans, Tar, and Glass Onion. Meanwhile, cinematography covers just how good the pictures look in a film. It does tend to favor westerns, war pictures, or blockbusters, and the nominees here are All Quiet on the Western Front, Elvis, Empire of Light, The Fabelmans, and Top Gun Maverick. Which means not making the cut are The Batman, Bardo, Avatar The Way of Water, Babylon, and The Banshees of Inisherin. Now we took a look at the visual effects, which happen to be the special effects and cool visuals in a film. Usually you have the blockbusters that end up here. The nominees are Avatar The Way of Water, The Batman, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, 13 Lives, which of course is the Ron Howard film that ended up on, I believe it was on Hulu, and Top Gun Maverick. Which means not making the cut are All Quiet on the Western Front, Doctor Strange and the Multitude of Madness, Nope, Jurassic World Dominion, and Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore. Now we take a look at production design next, which covers how a set looks on film. The nominees for this one are Avatar The Way of Water, Babylon, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Elvis, and The Fabelmans. Which means not getting in would be Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Batman, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, All Quiet on the Western Front, and Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery. The next category is costume design, which refers to the clothes worn by the actors in the film. They tend to nominate period films and blockbusters for this list, and the nominees are Babylon, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Which means not showing up here would be The Woman King, Amsterdam, All Quiet on the Western Front, Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, and Living. The next category should be self-explanatory. That would be makeup and hair styling, where the nominees here happen to be Babylon, The Batman, Blonde, Elvis, and The Whale. Which ends up on the wrong end of the line. We have Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Amsterdam, All Quiet on the Western Front, Crimes of the Future, and Emancipation. Well, that takes care of the visual categories. Now we go to the other Best Pictures. Animated features felt mostly locked in except for the last option. The nominees are Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, Puss in Boots: Last Wish, and Turning Red. At the end, I went with a G Kids entry called Inuo, which made the cut for the Golden Globes. And that means there is a whole mess of Netflix original animated films did not show up here, which would include Window and Wild, My Father's Dragon, and The Sea Beast, Minions, The Rise of Gru, and from Universal and Illumination, and Strange World that came from Disney. Next up, we have the documentary features, which usually offer some surprises on nomination stage. And I predict things will not be different this time. The nominees are All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, All That Breathes, Descendant, Fire of Love, and The Territory. And we take a look at the alternatives, leading with Navalny, which received all the predecessor nominations, but I do think the grumblings about the anti-immigrant videos he posted in the 2000s, early 2010s will end up costing it a nomination. Also not making the cut will be Retrograde, Bad X, Moon Age Daydream, and Last Flight Home. And now we end up in the International Features category. A similar picture has emerged with 4 films feeling safe or safe-ish, with a 5th one up for grabs. I do think at the end of the day it will be All Quiet on the Western Front, Argentina 1985, Close, Decision to Leave, and E.O. And the film about the life of a donkey and the people it meets along the way. Not making the cut here will be The Quiet Girl, Bardo, Holy Spider, Return to Seoul, and Corsage. Now with those categories put to rest, it is time to explore the screenplay categories. Adapted screenplay nominations focus on films based on books, plays, and other properties. The nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Living, She Said, The Whale, and Women Talking. The latter film should be the favorite because it's the only one of those that was nominated for a Golden Globe against 4 original scripts. Not making the cut here would be Del Toro's Pinocchio, Top Gun Maverick, Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, White Noise, and Bones and All. Now we take a look at the original screenplay side. Proof positive that Hollywood does have some original ideas once in a while. The nominees: Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, and Tar all were the opponents of, you guessed it, Women Talking for Best Screenplay at the Globes. And I think the last choice is probably going to be Triangle of Sadness, which will give Ruben Östlund a consolation prize because he will not get in for Best Director. Perhaps a bit of a spoiler here, I think so. Not making the cut would be After Sun, Decision to Leave, The Menu, Elvis, and Babylon. And now that we're done with the screenplays, let's take a look at the acting categories. Best Supporting Actor has one heavy favorite to win, which would be Ke Huy Quan from Everything Everywhere All at Once, and 2 others are locks, which happen to be both co-stars of The Banshees of Inisherin, Barry Keoghan and Brendan Gleeson. Talking about people that have finished strong, I guess you could point to Eddie Redmayne from The Good Nurse, fitting that description. And I think the last choice here would be Paul Dano from The Fabelmans. I really struggled to come up with that 5th nomination here, and I settled on him after taking a look at some other people who seem more like long shots, which means probably I'm wrong on it. Not making the cut, in my opinion, would be Brad Pitt from Babylon, Brian Tyree Henry from Causeway, Judd Hirsch from The Fabelmans, Albrecht Schuch from All Quiet on the Western Front, and Ben Whishaw from Women Talking. Next up, we have Best Supporting Actress, which is starting to look like the Angela Bassett show right now. The other nominees will be Dolly De Leon from Triangle of Sadness, Hong Chow from The Whale, J.B.W. Curtis from Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Carrie Condon from The Banshees of Inisherin. If Bassett is nominated and wins, that will be the first actor who got nominated for and won an Oscar for being in a Marvel movie. And you take one look at the field that, as I see it right now, it looks like a pretty diverse field if you ask me. On the other end of the cut line, we got Stephanie Hsu from Everything Everywhere All at Once, Carey Mulligan from She Said, Michelle Williams from The Fabelmans. I think vote splitting is going to cost her. Janelle Monáe from Glass Onion, and Jessie Buckley from Women Talking. One of the things that have really hurt Women Talking is the fact they couldn't seem to come up with a consensus nominee for Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, and at the end of the day, that just proved to be too costly, I think. Now we take a look at the Best Actor. It's been a very interesting battle between the top three, as Austin Butler, Brendan Fraser, and Colin Farrell have all won awards, as well as being picked on, as well as getting picked for each and every precursor heading into this. But you know who else has? Bill Nighy for Living. And I think those four feel pretty safe here. The last nomination's going to be the question. I'm going to go with Tom Cruise, who started one of the top movies in the Best Picture field. But honestly, it could be any of a half dozen people. And it might even be somebody who I'm not even looking at. Let's take a look at the alternatives while we're at it. Paul Mescal for After Sun, Adam Sandler, who got an SJ nomination for Hustle, Gabriel LaBelle, the nominal lead of The Fabelmans, he could pull in there, as could Felix Kammerer from All Quiet on the Western Front. And let's not completely discount Tom Hanks, whose A Man Called Otto has proven to be a fairly surprising hit. In the winter months, maybe it's the late start that could prove costly, but we never know. Maybe he's pulled things off the right way. And now we take a look at the Best Actress race, which feels very fluid right now. Feel pretty confident about Cate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh. They're the co-favorites. As you can see, I'm sticking with Danielle Deadwyler from Till, who is going to be the sole nominee for that film. Anna de Armas from Blonde, which was critically reviled, but her performance was widely praised. And the low-cost nomination campaign featuring numerous actors supporting Andrea Riseborough, I'm going to predict, turns out to be successful. When there's smoke, there's fire. And I'm sensing a blaze going on right now. Maybe it's just Twitter, but I'm kind of doubting it. Which means, yes, Viola Davis did not make the cut here. Perhaps her campaign might have peaked a bit too soon, and she kind of got caught up because some of the other actresses kind of got a little bit ahead of her at the end. And then I think Michelle Williams, again, I argue vote splitting is going to cost her a nomination flat out, because people can't seem to decide whether she's an actress, which is what she's wanting, or supporting actress, which a lot of people think that maybe she should be running for anyway. Also not making the cut would be previous nominee Margot Robbie for Babylon, and Academy Award winners Olivia Colman for Empire of Light, and Emma Thompson and Good Luck to You, Leo Grand. I think we could draw a line between Robbie and Colman, because I don't think anybody outside the top 8 is getting a nomination. I feel like it's pretty safe. Now we take a look at the Best Director. 4 directors have received most, if not all, of the precursor nominations, but I do think one of them is going to get left out. It won't be Steven Spielberg after he got shunted from West Side Story. It won't be Martin McDonagh, not after 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Although it possibly could be the Daniels, I think the fact that they've been winning some of these director awards kind of eliminates them from the cut as well. Um, which means I think it will be Todd Field that doesn't make the cut. The other three films, repped by the remaining directors, are among the best chances of Best Picture, while Tar is a distant fifth to seventh place among the possibilities right now. I think taking those final spots would be foreign director Edward Berger for All Quiet on the Western Front, and surprise TGA nominee Joseph Kosinski for Top Gun Maverick. Other than Field, I think who's not going to make the cut, it probably will be Baz Luhrmann for Elvis, James Cameron for Avatar The Way of Water, Gina Prince Bythewood from The Woman King. I know a lot of people have been trying to make that happen, but I think much like Viola Davis, I think it's just a matter of timing. Things didn't work out for whatever reason. And last but not least, S.S. Rajamouli for Triple R. Now, we're going to take a look at the big picture of Best Picture. Most would argue that 7 films are a lock. I'm not so convinced. I agree the top 3, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Banshees of Inisherin, and The Fabelmans will definitely get nodded. Also, I think you could probably include Elvis and Top Gun Maverick on that list. 2 blockbusters, and then we throw in a third in the form of Avatar The Way of Water. Then some would argue maybe Tar belongs here. But this is where I'm going to disagree. Outside of Kate Blanchett and Best Original Screenplay, I don't think I see another nomination here. Plus, that preferential ballot will do that film 0 favors whatsoever. Since we're still up to only 6 nominations, I'm pretty sure that foreign film All Quiet on the Western Front will make the cut. Then I think the late push for The Whale will allow it to grab a spot. But if you're going to argue that Brendan Fraser helped The Whale get a nomination for Best Picture, I think you could also argue that Angela Bassett will help get Black Panther Wakanda Forever make the cut. And last but not least, I think it's going to be 2 foreign films that will be bowing for that last spot. And I think the edge will go to the Tollywood film Triple R, which definitely has its selection of fans. Once again, the preferential ballot thing leading the way. I don't think they were quite expecting to have 2 nominations from foreign films in the top 10. But at the same time, they got at least, they are getting like 3 or 4 blockbusters. And one would argue maybe even 5 if you include Everything Everywhere at Once, which actually did quite well for A24 Studios. What falls short? The Triangle of Sadness, the other film which I think ends up on the wrong end of the cut line, as does Tar. Women Talking, a film that was among the top 10 for a while, but it never seemed to get any sort of momentum. Babylon, which I think the fact that it flopped in December probably cost it a spot. And Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery, which also looked like it maybe peaked a bit soon. So, what is the big picture when it comes to the total predicted nominations? I think the film that gets the most will be The Banshees of Inisherin, getting 9 nods. Tying for second would be All Quiet on the Western Front, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Top Gun Maverick, all receiving 8. Elvis is in 5th place by itself with 7, and I think The Fabelmans will take 6th with 6 nominations. Black Panther Wakanda Forever would be 7th with 5, as would The Whale. And rounding out the top 10 would be Babylon and The Way of Water, both getting 4 nods. Babylon would be the top film without a Best Picture nomination. Each and every one of these other films will get a Best Picture nomination and at least 4 nominations in total. Alright, now it's time for that big announcement. Now that I'm done predicting until the awards, I can start watching the films themselves, which means I will probably be starting to do individual reviews of them pretty soon. Yes, and we're not talking like 15-20 minute affairs either. Let's Let us know in the comments what you think about my predictions. And thank you for watching. The booth is now closed.